Alright, in this video we are going to show this circle with a ramp on it. It's going to have a cone in the center, so we're going to show you what this will look like. Now we're going to be carving out the cone, but the one thing that's interesting is I've cut out these other parts as if there was no material there. So where it comes to carving out the groove here, and whoops, the wrong way, this groove right over here and the profile, they are actually not, there's no material there. This is really more what the material looks like. So when we get done, this is what we're basically starting with. So we'll see what this looks like. Now let me show you the wood itself. All right. Okay, the wood that we're going to be starting with is this, my base disc. This is what the disc is made out of. It's a 2 by 2 inch piece of wood. But what I've done was, on two previous parts, I cut out material, and this is what's left from one of the discs, and this is what's left from another disc. So we've got two discs stacked on top of and glued on to this. So I'm going to put this in place and clamp this down, and we're going to cut the ramp from here, and then the other part we'll cut into this part. The picture looks good. Let's see what happens when we hit the button. Now this one, I will very quickly have my hand on this emergency stop, because I wasn't able to use the height gauge because it's too high. I was running into the cutter, so I just brought the cutter down to the wood and told this machine to be zero. So if there's ever a time that something could go wrong. But I've got my fingers crossed. I mean, I've been thinking about it. I think I got it right. Okay, so let's start off by putting on the vacuum, the noise machine. And there's really not much to do. Just hit run cycle. Then you'll start to start up. And my hand's on the emergency stop. I'm going to put my headphones on. I put the new cutter in, but something again I need to continue to address. I'm burning my bits, and I was going at 100 inches per minute, so I gotta double check on this. But like someone told me that I should be getting chips the size of rice, and I have that too, and I was running at 100 inches, so it could be the material itself. Okay, so I put a new cutter in here. This has only got one flute. Let's see how this one does. Headphones. Sharp cutter. really sharp. I mean, I can tell it's like a real crisp line where it stopped cutting. I'm going to bring these over and take a look, get a look at the profile. I've got it at about 80 inches. Well, we did have a few mistakes on this one. As I predicted, my plexi groove ran into the center. It's just about me, not working with parts this high before. It's just a mistake. I thought I fixed the mistake, but obviously I made a mistake. I know what I did wrong. And what I did wrong was, what I should have done was, when I went to zero out the part, should have put 2 more pieces of wood in here so that this is how high it was. This used to be 0, but I turned out and I made this 0. And then I said, oh, forget about this ramp. This is 0. But then the cutter wants to go back to its sort of 0 position before it starts. So it did. It went back to 0 and said, okay, here's 0, let's go to work. And if I would have had it zeroed at here, it would have been able to clear that. So that was my mistake. So that was, I knew that was going to happen, but I still got it wrong. But overall, it's not too bad. That can all be cleaned up. Another thing I noticed is that my ramp is kind of, it's kind of raised up here by, let's see, 1/16 of an inch here and a 1/16 of an inch here. That means that when I went to start from the beginning, I could have lowered this by a 1/16 of an inch and this would have gone all the way tapered smooth. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to fill all this in with some sort of glue or putty or whatever, and I'm going to sand it smooth. So I'm going to make the taper so that it goes all the way to this groove here. The reason why I didn't have it go all the way to the groove in the first place was because the part wasn't that long. The piece of wood that was in there wasn't. Actually, it probably was. But I couldn't really get an accurate dimension, so I just kind of guessed a little bit. Now that I know it was I could have gotten a little bit closer. But it's not too bad for a part that has so many complicated features in it that I was able to get pretty close. I know some of the mistakes that I made. But overall, I think that one turned out pretty good. So we'll rip that one out of here. We'll rip this one out of here and fix it, repair it, and go on to the last part. There's only one more part. And then it's just the bottom part, which is just basically a disc with one groove in the middle, and that's it. Real simple part. So this is the last piece. And I'm very happy. I did a good job. Bottom piece. It's got one filter, plexiglass groove, and a profile. That's the whole thing. more parts need to be cut out for the filter itself. If I did a Harbor Freight mod, there's a few parts to be cut out there. But I probably won't do that because I would have to buy another Harbor Freight dust collector. So there we go. The last